My name is Morgan Lander, and I sing and play guitar and write music in the band Kittie. We will be heading to Australia, opening up for the mighty Ginger in a few weeks, and we are really, really stoked. Take it away.
Beautiful, Morgan. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. So, as you say, Kitty returned to Australia for the first time since 2012, very soon for a run of shows with Ginger, starting in Brisbane on February the 21st before moving
Mhm.
to Sydney, Melbourne, and Adelaide, and finishing in Fremantle on February 28th. So, you're packed and ready to go?
Yes, actually, I am packed. I'm ready to go. My guitar is really the only other thing I got to put into a case. Everything is all ready. I'm excited for some of the nice weather I know you're having there. Packing some shorts and ready to rock.
Nice. Now, I know you guys had a bit of a hiatus for a while there, but aside from that, what's changed with Kitty since you were here last?
Oh gosh. Well, it's all the same girls that will be playing in the band. So that's the same thing. Obviously, we have new music. It's been 13 years since we put out our last album, and I believe when we did the Soundwave Festival in 2012, we were supporting the last album that we put out before we sort of went on this indefinite hiatus. That was kind of just like let's just see what else is out there in life type thing. And so, yeah, it's been 13 years as of last year since we put out all this new music, and things have been amazing. It was an interesting time uh, to decide to write again, to get together and do the band. I think a lot of people were asking for it. It's been a long time, and I don't know, the timing just felt really right. So we are going to be playing a lot of old stuff throughout our entire catalog, and we'll also be playing some brand new music for our amazing Australian fans as well. So that's what's new and that's what's old.
Fantastic. Now, for the benefit of those who may not have seen us out here before, what can we expect from Kitty live on stage?
Oh gosh. Well, I mean, we've always prided ourselves in being just kind of like a straight up metal band. I know a lot of bands, use a lot of different things these days, technologies and things like that. But we've always been a band that just gets up there, four girls having a great time, just rocking out. A lot of fan interaction. A lot of screaming, and it's gonna be real loud. So yeah, like I mean, we just love what we do. We have a really great time. It's a fun show. It's a little bit angry, but that's metal, right?
That's exactly right. And of course, you're touring with Ginger, who have revolutionized the world of metal since they came. So, have you played much with them overseas before?
No, actually, this will be the first show that we've ever played with Ginger. However, I have seen them perform before, and they are incredible. They're an incredible band. Tatiana's vocals are unparalleled. Um, I mean, technically, I guess we played at the same festival as them. It was the Sick New World Festival that happened last year in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the United States. And they had headlined one of the stages. We played earlier on in the day, and I got to catch their set. It was amazing. But I've never met any of the folks in Ginger before, so this will be a fun opportunity to hopefully make some new friends and see some awesome musicians play because they're an incredible band.
Fantastic. Now, just say someone's going along just to see Ginger and they don't know who Kitty is. What three songs of yours should they listen to before they go so they get an idea of what to expect?
Oh gosh. Well, I think that it's important to focus on the newer stuff, but also understand that we have been a band for coming up on 30 years now, and our first album was released 25 years ago. So there is a big disparity in the maybe even the sounds of the songs themselves. I would say everyone is going to say Brackish because that's like the song that everybody knows. But I would go with say, listen to Spit. It's the first song off of our first album. Sort of opens things up and sort of lets you know what we're all about. So I would say, listen to Spit. I would say maybe a song like We Are the Lamb would be, or no, Cutthroat. Let's pick Cutthroat. That was a single. Cutthroat is a later song. It was a single as well, but it kind of has that dichotomy between screaming and singing. It's a really fast song. There's some shredding solos in as well. And I would pick something new from our new album, Eyes Wide Open. So I think you're getting sort of the beginning, the middle, and up to the present of our career.
Fantastic. Now, we sort of touched on this before, but you returned last year after your hiatus with the album Fire. So how was that received? Was it the comeback you expected?
To be honest with you, I really didn't know what to expect. I mean, obviously, when you're coming back after such a long time away, you're hoping that people will still remember you, that they will still care, that what you're doing is still relevant. Obviously, for us, like we're passionate about what we do, and we know that the music that we're making is something that we love. But yeah, I mean, I think Fire, it was a labor of love. It was a really, really amazing album to write. And yeah, I mean, people came to the shows. The reception was incredible. We were recently nominated for a Juno Award in Canada here where we're from, which is sort of like our Grammy, our ARIA award, I guess. And so we're honored that people are recognizing what we've done. And yeah, it's been amazing, just the fact that people are still listening after all this time.
Now, that was your first album since I Failed You in 2011. So about a 13-year difference. So was it difficult to sort of come together and write songs again as a cohesive unit after not doing it for so long?
I would say yes, it was difficult. A lot of it had to do with the fact that all of us sort of live in different places. We had sort of moved away, started our lives in different areas of the country. And so coming together was difficult, but we utilized as much technology as we could. We did a lot of recording and sending things. We have a shared Dropbox where, we can swap ideas and talk about stuff. We had a couple of Zoom writing sessions even where we just kind of hung out and played some riffs, those types of things, and got together when we could to write and things like that. So it was tough, and it was different because at the time of our last couple albums, and I Failed You in particular, like we were on tour all the time. We were playing constantly, and it was very easy for us to just sort of get in a room together to write an album. And sometimes when I listen to that album, I'm like, wow, you could really tell that we were doing nothing but playing shows all the time. Like it just feels that way. So Fire was different in that we were sort of coming back to this like unknown world. Who is going to care about our music or whatever, and but we made it work. And I think once you start, the magic starts flowing again. And once we did have a lot of those writing sessions, like it just all fell into place. The chemistry that we have as musicians together, as a band, it's just there, and that's not something that ever goes away. So it was daunting at first, I can't lie, but then once we got into it, it eased up a bit, and it just all flowed out.
Nice. Now, you formed Kitty in Ontario back in 1996. So what was the musical climate like that gave birth to the band, and where did you fit in initially?
Well, we've never really fit in anywhere, and that's kind of been fun. But London, Ontario, where we're from, is not a very big place. It's maybe about 500,000 people. It's a small city. Back in the 90s, there was a lot of different venues. There was a thriving local scene. Unfortunately, fast forward, almost 30 years, there really isn't a lot of places like bars and clubs where smaller bands can sort of cut their teeth and things like that. But we were lucky in that there were a lot of really great little places that we were able to play, and great local scenes that we could meet other, bands around our same age or bands within the scene that were that were playing shows, and that's how we got started. We were playing at a couple of local clubs like every weekend or every couple weekends throughout the first few years that we were a band. And that was just how we loved to spend our time. Things are a lot different now. Like I said, there aren't really everything is like mid-size or larger. So there's not really, those like those grungy little clubs, the places that have all that character. Like those are the places that we really like bars and things like that we really started at. That's where the magic is, in the dirt, and the floorboards in the bar. But we never really did fit in. There were a lot of bands our age that were like, during high school and things like that were starting bands. But being as young as we were, sort of branching out and being women as well, it was always a bit more of a challenge, and we did sort of stand out. And I guess like in general in the metal scene now, even, there's always like a hub, like a lot of big bands from, America, they're like, oh, it's New York or LA or whatever. And like we're still in Ontario, Canada, and that's where we've chosen to stay. And so we are a little bit far away from, a lot of the the meccas of the music industry or whatever. But I like my quiet life too.
Good, good. And your debut album, Spit, was a powerful musical statement when you came out, but could you tell it had the potential to be something special in the creative and development process?
Um, you know, Looking back, I really do find it hard to see those signs, but I think the signs were more in the people around us that were interested, the people around us that were supportive, like uh when we first started playing around, like in Toronto, we played like Canadian Music Week, and we met the people that were from our first label there. And it was always amazing to me because I felt like back then we were very we were very rough around the edges. We were very unpolished, but we had a lot of personality and a lot of drive, and we did put on a great show. It was very energetic and things like that. And so it was always, looking back now, I can see that it was the people that were gravitating towards us that sort of allowed a lot of that to sort of happen organically. But there was a lot of really special things about the songwriting and the songs themselves. I mean, we were just a bunch of kids writing songs in our parents' basement. And those songs, they pretty much stayed exactly the same as they did when we were writing to when we recorded our debut album with Garth Richardson. And yeah, it was a magical time. We certainly captured like a time in our lives, and sort of a raw presence. There's a lot of like teenage angst in there. It's almost like on the brink of chaos. And I think that's what people like so much about it, that it's like controlled chaos. And I mean, yeah, looking back, it was a really strange and special time. Like when all this stuff is happening, though, you don't really realize, right? Until are able to look back and say, wow, okay, well, look at all this stuff. It was like being in the eye of the storm, so much was going on around us. And just being, 15, 16 years old, it was hard to really have perspective.
Very nice. Now, before I let you go, Morgan, I've started a new segment up called Photo Bombs. So basically, before I talk to you, I troll through your social media and I come up with a couple of photos that I want to know a little bit more about. So, first one I've come up with from you guys is this little Christmas ditty. Like, let's go. That looks like a fun time.
Yeah, so that actually was, it probably would have been around the time that we released In the Black, which I think was what, 2009? And that was us four girls going to the mall to go and annoy a mall Santa Claus. So, they have the mall Santa Claus there where you can line up and the kids get to sit on Santa's lap and ask him uh what they want for Christmas. And so we waited in line and we went and got Santa Claus. We got our photo with Santa Claus. He doesn't look awake in that photo though. He has, like, you can't see his eyes.
interested at all, does he?
He's he's passed out.
Okay, and the other one I've found is this one here. Like, how old were you girls there? That's
Oh gosh. Yeah, so that's 1999. That would have been the album photo shoot that we did for the Spit uh like promotion. So we went around all over. I believe it was New York, and then we did some stuff in London as well. And yeah, so that's 1999. So that is a very long time ago. It
it
looks
is.
like I think we're at a baseball diamond. It looks like.
It's like someone's got a broken leg too.
Yeah. Yeah. Those boots, it kind of looks like a little bit of a medical boot, doesn't it?
It does. So
Yeah.
what are some of your memories of that period of the band's life, like looking at that photo?
Oh, wow. I mean, we were truly so young. I was the oldest person there, and I was 17 years old. And I don't know, it was a really innocent time, you know. You can see my sister in the bottom corner having like a really, really good laugh. And I think it's genuine. You know, we were so young and everything was, you know, life was ahead of us. We had no idea what was to come, what to expect with releasing the music. We just knew that like something was happening, and it was really, really exciting that we got the chance to do it. And yeah, it's just like a really fun moment in time. Like all those smiles are genuine. So
And if you could tell your 17-year-old self there one thing about life right now, what would it be?
oh gosh. I would say it's gonna be okay, Morgan. You're gonna make it.
All right, Morgan. Well, thanks very much for your time. It's been a pleasure to speak with you. Kitty are out here with Ginger from February the 21st. There's shows all around the country, so tickets are selling quick. So if you want to go along, best get yourself one shortly.
Thank you so much for having me.